learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So I had a subscriber call me stupid, and he's right. Well, no, he didn't actually call me stupid, but boy, did I sure feel like one after he posted his comment. Oh man. Okay, and I do owe you an explanation and some probably an apology also. I don't know if it's really an apology, it's simply a mistake, and it really doesn't make any difference in the scheme of things, but it's a good point. So I've told you many times, my goal is to have a large accumulation of firewood so that when I get older, I don't have to cut as much firewood. And I've told you that I wanted to have this whole area here filled up. So you see those blue tarps? And then up here. And my goal was probably about 50 cords of wood. Right now I got 6. And so when I got to be 70 years old or so, I wouldn't need to cut as much firewood, maybe 1 tree a year. And it takes 3 trees to make a cord. Now, one of the things that people have suggested is that I said that, I'm going to store this wood for a long period of time. Well, it's funny because people will go on to Google immediately and fact check me to make sure that I'm correct. And so I got a bunch of people saying, oh, that wood's never going to last for as long as you want it to last. It's only going to last 4 to 5 years. I thought, no, that can't be true. So I Googled it, and sure enough, it says right on Google, right there at the top, firewood only lasts 4 to 5 years. So that's exactly what people were doing. They were Googling it. But what they failed to do was actually open the article and read it. If you leave it uncovered, yeah, it'll only last 4 to 5 years. But if you can cover it, and we're going to do a better job covering it than what we already have. Right now, we just got some tarps laying over it. But I intend to buy some tin metal. As a matter of fact, I found some, well, Carolyn found some for $100, and I should have gotten it, and we'll cover that appropriately. A lot of people have suggested building a shed or some sort of pole barn, and we might, I don't know. I don't know if I want anything that permanent yet. That's in the future, not that worried about it. But if I can just cover it with some tin, then it's going to last forever. But if you think about wood itself, if you buy a 2x4, non-treated, we're just talking about kiln-dried 2x4, it stays in your house forever. It doesn't rot. It's not specially treated or anything. So, and that's how you look at firewood, is if you keep it covered and dry, it'll last for a very, very long time. As a matter of fact, when we moved here, there was a pile of firewood, I would say 15 or 20 small logs, and it was covered with tin, and you had, 4 or 5 logs laying directly on the ground, and then everything stacked on top of it. Well, of course, the 4 or 5 logs that were on the ground rotted, but the ones on top were like brand new. Of course, they were really dry, and that's what you want dry firewood. That's probably been here at least since 1975, because that's the last time anybody's actually lived on this property. What I have said is our house is going to be 200 square feet. Right now, we have our little camper, which is, 50 square feet. I have never actually figured it out. And we have an outdoor heat exchanger. I built it, and I'm very proud of it. It works pretty good. What my intentions was to go ahead and build an outdoor heat exchanger here as well. But instead of using an old wood stove, that was got an old Franklin wood stove that I meticulously went around every little seam and sealed it up with furnace cement so it wouldn't suck in more air. My expectation is we'll use 1 cord of wood, maybe a little more because it's an old wood stove. But nowadays, they have these super efficient heaters. England, and can't think of the other one. It starts with a DR. I'll put it right here on the screen. I got a lot of them. They're really efficient now. And if you look at some of these, they don't hardly burn any firewood, and they keep massive amount of heat. So the one we're looking at is actually the smallest one that I can find, covers 250 square feet. Well, this is going to be only 200 square feet, so it's actually going to be too large, but that's the smallest one I can find. And we decided we're not going to build an outdoor wood furnace. We'll just put it inside like we're supposed to, because we're going to lose some heat in the transfer from the building into the house. So we've decided that we've changed our mind. And that's the nice thing about going slow on the build. A lot of people suggest that I got to go really fast and I need to hurry up and get it done. What are you going to do before winter? You can't live in that little camper. Well, we've lived in that little camper for 3 years. That won't hurt to do another one. And this time we got wood heat. So this year I may actually end up using a little bit more wood than I want. Now the other thing is we're going to super insulate this house. I've already got the floor insulated, and I'm using 2x6s for the walls. Normally you use 2x4s. I'm actually going to get more insulation, and then I'm going to double insulate the ceiling and the roof. It's going to be super insulated. I got double pane windows, so that's going to be good. Really nice door, thick, heavy door, double pane window door. So this is going to be a small house with lots of insulation. I actually think the 250 square foot heater is going to be way too much. We'll end up having to open windows just to keep us a little bit cooler. So my point is we're going to use less than or equal to 1 cord of wood, and we won't have the loss of heat. Now, these new efficient heaters are pretty expensive. The one I'm looking at is so small, it's only $800 or $700 or something. It's not that expensive, but I got to thinking about cost. If I put it outside, then I'm going to have to build a little building out here. You know, that's going to be another, let's say $500 plus the stove itself. So, you know, we're up to $1,000. And Carolyn and I really got to thinking about, do we want an outdoor wood furnace? And there is a little bit of a disadvantage to having an outdoor wood furnace is you got to go outside to actually load it up. So if you have to get up in the middle of the night, now with these newer wood stoves, I wouldn't think you're going to have to get up. But if you have to get up in the middle of the night to load the stove up and it's snowing or raining and it's icing or whatever, oh, that's miserable. So we got to thinking about our layout of the house and would it really take up that much space? Now, of course, one of my concerns is the danger of having a wood stove in the house anyways. That's one of my big concerns, but I think it's a minor risk. If you don't have a bunch of creosote in the chimney and you clean it and you take care of it, you should be okay. So we've decided that we're going to rearrange the layout of the house a little bit. The kitchen will go over here next to the door because Carolyn wants to have an outdoor stove on the porch. So she'll have a sink over there in this corner. Probably a bathroom in this corner, which leaves a bed up here and a little living room. So in the living room is where, now this is all open floor space. There's not individual rooms. It's just one big building, except for the bathroom. The bathroom will have an enclosure. So we'll put a wood stove right here in this corner. And I can have a desk and a chair, and Carolyn can have a chair. And so I think this is what we're going to do. Huge advantage, taking our time, thinking everything through, and not being so in love with an idea that we can't change our mind. Because I was pretty in love with the idea of having an outdoor wood furnace because of the safety aspect of things. But got to looking at these wood stoves, and it doesn't make any sense to waste that kind of efficiency. So as I was saying, I've been really pushing myself to get a lot of firewood for my retirement, you know, when I'm 70 years old or when I get older. And I've never really thought about what was coming out of my mouth and the reality of things. So if I'm using 1 cord a year and I have 50 cords of wood, and let's just say 70 years old, probably a little younger, 65, 70, and I start slowing down on how much firewood I produce each year. The math just doesn't work out. 1 cord a year. If I live to be 100 years old and I stop cutting firewood at 70, I only need 30 cords, right? Well, what's the likelihood of me actually living to 100 years old? And the other thing is, I don't plan on completely stopping with cutting firewood. You know, like I said, maybe I'll cut 1 tree a year. So the subscriber says, I think you've mistaken on your math. He says, well, why are you going to have so much firewood laying around? And after you die, it's just going to be sitting there. And he had an absolute good point. Now, of course, I could sell it, which has been kind of a plan all along. Is, you know, if we get too much, we can sell it. I don't want to ever turn down a free tree. Neighbor's got 3 trees over here. Right now, I'm cutting this tree right here down in the city park. That's probably going to be 2 or 3 cords by itself. It's a massive tree. So I'm never going to turn those down. That'll save me from having to cut wood on my own property. I know so many people want me to just deforest my property, you know, make my own lumber and all that, but I really enjoy my woods. Right now the fall colors are starting to pop up. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I'm really looking forward to all that. So I have to apologize. Obviously, if you do the math, I don't have to have that much firewood. So it's a good point. And I was really embarrassed when I read the comments like, yeah, you know, I really never thought about it. I'm going to cut until I can't cut anymore. I enjoy cutting. Carolyn and I was just talking about this just a few minutes ago. Thanks to the subscriber calling me out and make me feel stupid. I hope I can inspire you to think about your future. And so you don't have to work so hard and enjoying your dream. Thanks for watching.